Humanity and the Scatoni Expedition Fleet. When the Scatoni Expedition Fleet first discovered humanity, there was much celebration among the great empires of the galaxy. The Scatoni were merely explorers and data miners, more interested in cataloging the universe than in interacting with humans. After exchanging information, they broadcast the location of a human colony world and simply departed, leaving behind the coordinates of a new potential conquest. War fleets from across the galaxy began their slow march to conquer the newcomers. It was at this point that we first realized we had bitten off more than we could chew. The first and last battle of Eden 4, the season Imperium, bloodthirsty and slave-mongering, had plagued the galaxy for millennia since the dawn of the first suns. They arrived on the outskirts of the Eden 4 system, the so-called New Hawaii. Their fleet consisted of thousands of warships of every possible class, size, and profile, a massive conglomeration representing thousands of years of domination and the plundering of civilizations. The Seasons had heard rumors of human strength, dexterity, and intelligence, but nothing prepared them for what was about to unfold. A speech echoed across the entire communication network, a grand speech from the fleet admiral. As he began his bloviating and posturing, keeping his fleet on standby, he unleashed a torrent of meaningless words aimed at the humans. At the conclusion of his address, humanity offered the galaxy a simple response. In front of the largest fleet of the 6 empires, they phased their entire civilization into an alternate dimension and remained there. Suddenly, 6 dozen star systems became empty ghosts that appeared to be there but weren't. Every ship, every building, every asteroid in the local belts phased out of reality and into their own alternate dimension, leaving behind only a slightly transparent echo of what once was. An entire region of unexplored space vanished along with the civilization it contained. The war fleet that remained behind did not transition with them, launching an absurdly foolish attempt to inflict damage. This effort failed embarrassingly, as every shot they fired simply passed through each object harmlessly, as if an ancient civilization had created holograms of massive star systems and forgotten to turn them off. The humans continued their activities, as if the nearby warship fleet were little more than a mild irritation. Their communication signals were blocked, and the Admiral's childish wails went unanswered. In one fell swoop, humanity secured their future as a species and an empire, while rendering their enemies the most egregious insult imaginable: to be ignored. The rest of the galaxy saw this as a direct challenge and launched attacks, all ending in the same way. Any disruptor technology they attempted was wasted, and any missile launch simply flew by or failed to fire altogether because its intended target could not be found. They even attempted their own phase shift, but that too failed. They phased into the wrong universe. Humanity hijacked their phase shift systems and phased the ships out of existence completely, leaving the crews floating dead in space. After that, numerous attempts to confront humanity were made, all of which were simply ignored. Doomsday devices and superweapons became effectively worthless. The greatest powers in the galaxy were reduced to laughingstocks due to their inability to subdue a minor civilization 10 times smaller than their own. Humanity had the smallest ships, the weakest weapons, and the fewest systems, yet they took down entire empires simply by developing the means to ignore them. All previous conventions of war were rendered useless in the span of about 2 minutes. The armies assembled had nowhere to land, and the ships they built had nothing to shoot at. Empires came into human systems and set up remote outposts to taunt them. The humans simply ignored these efforts, rendering them as worthless as the people who created them. It had been 10 years since anyone had dared to act against humanity, who had since claimed an additional 60 systems in their local sector. They stopped only upon reaching their borders, warping in with their fleets, phasing entire systems out, and continuing on as if nothing had happened. They were building an entire civilization right on our doorstep, in their very own pocket dimension, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Angry words were exchanged whenever they approached a border, but they would block communications and continue on or carry on as usual. They never encroached on other territories and clearly marked their own borders. They did not engage with traitors and ignored random radio communications, simply dismissing everything around them. But that was about to change. Today, I, THX Rantar, merchant of the Serene Imperium, will bridge that gap. I have been observing humans for some time now, trying to understand them, and I believe I found a weakness. I traveled for weeks, warping through every known system until finally arriving at the original world, New Hawaii, as they called it, a now bustling tourism hub that had started it all. As usual, they ignored the entrance of my small frigate, and I carefully maneuvered my ship through the traffic, trying my best to avoid them. I hovered around the station for a while, observing it like a dry dock, and eventually found what I was looking for, a seemingly disused or derelict dock. I maneuvered my ship into it and began my preparations. I had a pre-recorded message for the humans, broadcasting on every known radio frequency and signal, all locally. I prayed one last time and then started the recording. Hello, humans. I understand that your introduction to the galaxy was not exactly what we would call air-friendly. I guess that's an apt description. I would like to be the first member of the galactic community to extend a hand in friendship, or at the very least, a hand in commerce. My name is THX Rantar, orderly merchant of the Serene Imperium. I mean no harm of any kind. If I receive no answer within the hour, I shall simply show myself out if I'm parked in the wrong place. I apologize for the inconvenience. Thank you, and have a nice day, I guess. This definitely caught their attention, and suddenly every ship within visual range turned to face mine. Unauthorized scan! Unauthorized scan! My ship's AI barked at me loudly as several dozen warships began scanning my vessel. Oh gods, I knew it. I sounded so stupid on that recording. I should have made a proper speech. I yelled at myself for my incompetence. Docking clamps engaged. Pressurization is complete. My AI said again loudly, snapping me out of my daze. What? Docking clamps? I quickly hurried to my console to check things. I had phased out of existence, and they had brought me into their universe. More so, I had docked with their station. Before I could do anything further, I heard a polite knocking on my airlock door. Hello? Is anybody home? Come in. Please hold on. I yelled out as I scurried from my seat, quickly staggering over to the door. I equalized pressure between the doors and opened it to find 3 humans, a large, tall, dark-skinned one and 2 armored ones behind him, along with several pairs of eyes hiding from the other end of the passageway. Oh, hello! I blurted out, a bit scared. A blue space elf, the tall, dark one said. Sona Fabit, said the one on the left, handing some sort of item begrudgingly to the other. What? Never mind. Welcome to my shop. Let me show you the merchandise. I stepped back, allowing these oddly adorable creatures to pass through. Their heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway as I led them to the cargo hold. So, what kind of stuff do you have exactly? One of them asked. I had no idea what to bring, so I responded, I didn't exactly join the market, so I brought some souvenir items, local crafts, musical instruments, and other things like that. Simple stuff. I have no idea what your dietary requirements are, so I tried to avoid foodstuffs, no weapons, no tech, no state secrets, just, tourist-wise stuff, I guess. As we reached the cargo bay doors and walked inside, I turned on the lights so we could see. One of the humans vocalized a sharp whistling noise and broke formation to inspect an instrument nearby. Huh, looks like a fancy version of a harpsichord, he said gingerly, pressing one of the keys. That's called a soroi. We usually use it for musical performances or such things. I approached and carefully unfolded the intricate device, flipping covers and twisting gears until it was fully open. It resembled a combination of an accordion, piano, and harp. Please excuse me, the tall, dark one said suddenly, standing in front of it. He attempted to create some kind of song, pressing random keys on the instrument, producing a cacophony of noise a few times before attempting a melody. I tried to maintain a straight face, but his childish instrument butchering grated on me. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, Bohemian Rhapsody, Still standing, he began, launching into the strangest yet most entertaining song I'd ever heard. It featured odd stops, mid-chord breaks, peculiar riffs, and notes that flowed together. He quickly gained control of the instrument, and by the time the song ended, he had almost mastered it. The two guards and several humans that had filtered in applauded him. "That sound is damn crisp right there. I haven't heard a sound that clean since my days in the theater," he exclaimed happily. "She's complicated though, a bit feisty, but it takes some getting used to. I need that thing. What do you want for it?" I shook my head and smiled in surprise. "I don't know. I could go for some instruments of yours in trade, or I'd take gold bullion. Gold is still a decent trade medium these days. I can take that. We'll probably have to figure something out. But that will do for now, I guess." My nervousness was more than apparent, but they seemed unfazed. One of them spoke up, "Let me see more instruments." "Ooh." He looked around, opening covers and boxes. "Ooh. No guitar. Want one." "What's a guitar?" I asked, curious. He held up the odd thing he was carrying, moving it around and holding it gently before beginning to play a song on it. The sound immediately caught my ears. "I would love that thing," I exclaimed. "Oh my, that sound! Let me think. Is it okay to ask for, 2 or 3 of those in exchange for the Soroi?" I asked as politely as I could. "Yeah, sure. We have a music shop on the dock. I can go get some stuff you can try out." He smiled, a spark in his eye. "I have a better idea," the tall, dark one said. "Welcome to New Hawaii Tourist Center. If you will please follow me, I will help you organize your merchant's license, and then we can make a proper deal and figure out a proper trade system." My face lit up with excitement. This was more than I had hoped for. Yes, I would love that. "Thank you. Fantastic. Please follow me," he said, waving everyone away from my ship for now. I followed with a happy step, and all the humans that had wandered in were ushered out of my ship, with 2 guards protecting the entryway for me. We strutted away and headed for something called a trade office. However, I had one question. "May I ask something?" "Sure, what's up?" he replied calmly. "After all that has thus far happened, why are you so friendly?" I asked as politely as I could. "You asked politely. It's not that hard to understand. Up to this point, we had angry words, nasty proclamations, and warlords using our space to measure their dicks. We were always interested in trade and friendship, hell, even sharing tech. All we ever wanted was to not be alone in the universe, but instead, we had to suffer through an entire galaxy filled with empire-hungry beings," he explained with an annoyed tone. "So, to break your animosity, all I had to do was be polite?" I asked with genuine confusion. "Yep. Please and thank you will get you a lot of places with humans." "Make a note of that," he said, closing one eye cheekily. "Here you are, the Commerce Guild's trade office. It won't take long, and I have made sure to secure your ship from prying eyes. I will see to it that we have some equally interesting merchandise available for trade, and secure some bullion just in case," he said with a smile. "Thank you. Looking forward to it," I replied with enthusiasm as I walked into the door.